reporting back from our first afternoon in Bournemouth, 2-day equality event. We've got 150 delegates in total talking about LGBT issues, black workers issues, women's issues, disability issues. There's so much going on out there at the moment that we want to make sure that we empower our reps to be the best that they can be.
I think one of the most important thing that I'm really concerned about and worried about is the future of this country, to be honest, and where we're going regarding fairness and equality for people, because what's coming out is trade unions are going to be under attack, minorities are going to be under attack, and we certainly see all that on the streets now. And as unionists, and we certainly need to rethink our whole plan and how we're going to tackle this, because from what I can see and from what I'm hearing is that this country's going, it's going to go into a very bad place in the next few years. The only thing we have got is time on our side, till the next election, and to stop these racist groups and parties to taking power. And it's really frightening and worrying, especially when it comes to people from the BAME community, because there's a lot of BAME people genuinely worried about, the reaction sometimes they even get from people, just ordinary people on the streets. So, look, we've got time on our side, and I think we as a union all together really need to work together and come up with some sort of a plan and some sort of an idea on how we're going to tackle this problem. Racism and all that, fascism and all that's existed for a long time, but never have I ever known it to be so strong and powerful as it is in this day. So we've got a real struggle to deal with.
So, done a session earlier on around the work I've been doing with TUC Cymru around the anti-far right agenda as well as the anti-racism agenda. Touched on some of the workshops we're doing on the anti-far right and the booklet on the anti-racism toolkit, and I think we have to do more and more of these sessions for people to talk about what's actually happening in the workplace, because these issues are in the workplace and we have to deal with them as trade unions. Just because somebody indicates that they're going to vote for reform doesn't mean they're a racist, and we have to ask them why they're going to vote for reform and get a more of an understanding why. And on the anti-racism toolkit, that's for reps, any rep. Don't have to be a black rep, Asian rep or minority rep, just for reps to actually assist members on race issues.
My name is Suresh Grover. I'm the National Director of the Monitoring Group, which is a national organization supporting victims of racism. It's a civil rights organization that has helped families who've suffered injustices through racial murders, state violence and institutional racism. Over the last 40 years we've been working. It's disappointing that we're still talking about equality in 2025. We should be moving at a much faster pace. The politicians and political parties have always compromised and created different obstacles to achieve real equality for women and other groups. I really want to discuss how the issue of institutional racism and the growth of the far right is a massive challenge for us. As we know, institutional racism was defined by Macpherson after the Lawrence case, and I was involved in the Lawrence campaign as a coordinator from 93 right up to the public inquiry in 99. That public inquiry was seminal because it examined the failures by police service to not just apprehend the persons responsible for Stephen's murder, but also because of the litany of lies it told the Lawrence family. And the Lawrences became figureheads for a greater tragedy that was taking place against black communities when it came to state response to issues of racism. Despite the fact that the definition was agreed politically in Parliament in 1999, very little has been done about dealing with discriminatory elements of racism. And we've seen over the last 10-15 years, from Baron Acaci's report to the current revelations in Charing Cross police station, how black people and people of color and of different religions are treated by police service, despite it being put in special measures in London. So very little seems to have changed, and lots of promises are made, but there's really no action, no real structural changes take place to address that. The other problem that I raised was the issue of the growth of the far right. I think at this stage, the alarming rise of far right at a global level, which is funded by corporations, the rise of the far right in this country through Tommy Robinson as well as Nigel Farage, both at street and political level. We need to really rise to that challenge, not just by organizing demonstrations, which are absolutely important, but really reaching out to those people who have been treated as combustible material by the far right. You know, they've been prey to them and their narrative through social channels, through misinformation, blaming new arrivals for the impact of austerity on housing, on the National Health Service, on education and the infrastructure that exists. That kind of narrative has been supported by the government for the first time. For the first time in this country, the far right demonstrations that we saw last year, the riots we saw, although they were condemned after they occurred and people were imprisoned, they were solely triggered by politicians making speeches and demonizing migrants. And we need to create an alternative political movement to the far right by building real bases within working class communities across the country. And the trade union movement has a real role to play in that. It needs to use its muscle, its resources and finances, not just to connect and engage with working people across the country, but also build resources where people living in austerity conditions can go to centers, get food banks and deal with poverty. They act as communities of solidarity or building solidarity of different communities. They bring back the original historical examples of working people being proud of their own heritage and their own history and dealing with. Although I'm an anti-racist advocate, I think unless you address those issues, we suffer a terminal threat to any form of progressive organising within working classes and labour movement.
My name's Colin Bell from South London, so North Hampshire branch. I'm here on the Equality and Diversity event, which is put on here, and we had the campaign for the Police Spies out of lives. And believe me, it's them now, but it is you also. And also those who are working behind the scenes with wives, girlfriends, and then going on and actually sleeping with other women and portraying two lives, right? You're in it too, and you're being watched as well.
Hiya, so Alison here at the CWU Equalities Conference. Been very privileged to be here. Jessica and I have been here talking about our experiences and raising awareness of our campaign. And big ask is for people to sign the petition to make it illegal for undercover police officers to have relationships with members of the public. You'd think that would be a no-brainer, but it turns out that the government don't really want to do that. But any support you can give, you've got until November the 15th.
My name is CWU. I'm Ricky Rio's mother. I'm here to raise awareness of my case about how my son was killed by a racist and investigated by the racist police. And also I am a co-participant in the undercover police spying, and I give evidence on the 26th of November in London about why, and I will be asking why the police thought it appropriate to intrude into my life, and why did they decide to spy on me. I had done nothing wrong. I did not pose any threat to the country, but they decided to intrude into my personal life and record really personal details of myself and my family, which is not right. My children were subjected to this police action as well, where young children were told without their mother's presence that they had discovered the body from the bottom of the river, and how the police officer, unknown to us, carried out a second post-mortem, removed the skin from Ricky's body, took photographs and tried to show those photographs to a newspaper journalist in order for her to print these photos so that the whole public can see my son without his skin. And they also lied and told me that no organs were removed, whereas everybody knows that the skin is the biggest organ of the body.
My name is Prince Kingsley Faborode. You know, when we're talking about the mental health today, it's really fascinating because there are a lot of people going through mental health in this country, and this is something that people fear to talk about. So knowing that the best way of dealing with mental health is ability for you to speak to people, and when you speak with people, that really goes a long way, and it could solve 60% of the problem. For me, that was quite real and fascinating. So, and as well, when we move on to the second topic of today about race relation, yeah, it's a big thing in this country, and I have a job to do by myself to learn more about what is race relation in the country, how the laws come into play, and what has been done since in play, and as well how I can use the tools to educate my people when I go back to my branch. So for me, so far so good. It's been a good event, and I just want to say thanks to Kate and others who has put up this event together for us to learn more and to see what we can do to make the trade union movement better. Thank you.
So we've got a quiet room. It's been absolutely fantastic, gone really well, some really, really positive feedback. Just said goodbye to everyone and thank you in my closing address. It's not easy being a representative sometimes, and I just wanted people to remember it's the friendships that get us through the stressful times and the hard times, but being a rep is also so rewarding. Also highlighted some of the work that we've done on equality this year. We've got our new national networks starting up in 2026, and we'll be coming out to work with our equality and education reps to make sure that they're getting all the support they need to make sure that our campaigns and our work are driving through the regions. We're also going to have a new team of sexual harassment awareness trainers shortly. We're putting them through their training in a couple of weeks. So those one-day workshops will then be spread out across the UK, which is a fantastic initiative that the CWU have delivered for our reps and our members in the future. And then just touching on other education aspects that we've done, our new Equality Act workshop, our new postal training. We've put 500 postal reps through the training in the first 6 months, which just shows what can be delivered on the ground when we work together as departments in our headquarters for our reps out on the ground, the training that they need in the field to be the best that they can be. So overall, a great 2 days. Looking forward now to a quiet evening, but starting our work again once we get back into the office next week.